Thinking about carrying an assisted opening knife? Let's take a look at the reasons why you should or should not carry an assisted opener. Recently, I've been talking with my knife buddies and the topic of assisted opening knives came up. There were some really interesting conversations that arose from that, and I thought that I would add this video to my to-do list. What I got from these conversations is that there are a number of issues that assisted openers are prone to, but there is one really good reason to carry one. But before we get into that, I need to address something important real quick. The difference between a switchblade and assisted opening knife. A lot of people mix them up, but they are different and it's very important to distinguish them. Switchblades rely on a spring to open a knife for you. When you press the release button, the knife does all the work for you. In contrast, if you were to remove all of the internal springs from assisted opener, the knife would function just like a regular flipper or thumb opener. It's an assisted opener. You have to initiate the opening yourself, and then the springs help the opening to completion. In reality, switchblades and assist aren't that different, so why make such a big deal between the two? That would be because in the majority of states or countries, it is illegal to carry a switchblade, or at least highly restricted. Assisted opening knives, however, often fly under the radar and are treated as normal folding knives. So if you love the romance of the spring knife, the assisted opener is a way to get the same result with less legal libido. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at there are 3 reasons why you should not carry an assisted opener. The first reason is the threat of undesired openings. With a completely manual knife, there is no impetus for the blade to open unless you open it yourself. That's true for an assisted opening knife as well, until it gets that bump to get it started. And that could be an actual bump. Run into a table, sit down funny, fall over, catch the thumb stud on your keys, and you might have a very sharp knife deployed in your pocket. I like to call it the "are you happy to see me" problem. You might not even notice that your knife is open. Stick your hand in your pocket and you've just cut yourself. Sit down, you've just stabbed yourself in the leg. The issue's rather self-evident. Now, in order to counteract this issue, many manufacturers have built safeties into their knives. It's a perfectly reasonable solution and it works as long as you remember to use it. But safeties add a second problem: quick openings. For those who carry a knife for defensive carry, quick deployment is vital. If you carry an assisted opener with the safety on, you have to disengage the safety before opening the knife. Under duress, that's not a simple task. For those who carry for simple utilitarian uses, forgetting the safety is simply an irritant. But if you are going to forget the safety every time you try to use your knife, you are likely to grow frustrated with that knife and unhappy with it. The third issue is reliability. This is also aimed more at defensive carry, but for someone who uses their knife heavily all the time, reliability is also important. The more complex you make anything, the more things there are to go wrong. Springs wear out over time, dirt jams mechanisms, and so on. If you rely completely on that spring, bringing that knife into action, what are you going to do when your knife doesn't open like it's supposed to? It's an important thing to take into consideration. Now that I'm done knocking assisted openers, let's go ahead and take a look at their saving grace. Assisted opening knives have one great thing going for them. They are easy to open. I personally carry manual knives. I find it very easy to manipulate spyderco holes, thumb studs, flippers, and if I'm feeling particularly cocky, the occasional balisong. But I got one thing going for me. I'm young, and all my fingers are still rather nimble. That is not the case for everyone. A law enforcement friend of mine likes to carry a knife with him, but has issues with arthritis in his hands. He really likes knives like the Spyderco Yojimbo, but he has a hard time manipulating the knife with his thumb. He also can't inertial open the knife because he has similar issues with his wrist. The cool thing about assisted openers is that they assist you in the opening. If you can't push the blade all the way out with your thumb, that's okay. Get it started and the knife will take it the rest of the way. Have a hard time opening a flipper? That's okay. Get it started and the knife will take it the rest of the way. Assisted openers are just that, assisted. If you have problems with dexterity, then they are a great option to help you out. That goes for any dexterity problems, such as if you're wearing gloves while using your knife at work. Overall, I prefer and recommend manual knives for most people. Assisted openers typically aren't faster than a manual with a bit of practice, and there are the problems that we just discussed. But for those who need a little help with getting the knife open, an assisted opener may be a good option to make life easier. Let me know what you think about assisted openers in the comments below, and as always, keep living the knife life.